Explosive Naidu versus Jagan war of words. Andhra Chief Minister claims Prasadam tainted under YSRCP. Naidu says animal fat used in Prasadam.
దేవుని దగ్గర పెట్టే ప్రసాదం అపవిత్రం చేసే విధంగా నాసి రకమైన ఇంగ్రీడియంట్సే కాకుండా ఎనిమల్ ఫ్యాట్ కూడా వాడారని. ఏది గీకు బదులు.
Team Jagan says ready to swear on temple. TDP vows to cleanse temple. The big focus on 6 p.m. Prime.
Hello and welcome. Good evening. You're watching 6 p.m. Prime here on India Today. I'm Akshita Nanda Gopal. The world-famous laddus from Tirumala Tirupati that I'm sure you've tasted as well, which is said to be the direct blessings of Lord Venkateshwara, of Lord Balaji in Tirumala, has been made with beef fat, or at least that is what the TDP has alleged. Here on India Today, we're getting you all the details emerging of this big controversy and questions looming about whether animal fat, lard as it's called, was actually used in making prasadam that was offered to Lord Venkateshwara at the holy revered Tirumala Tirupati temple. Questions being asked right now of the Tirumala Tirupati Devastanam, the temple board, and that was in place before Naidu took over, because it was Chief Minister Naidu who's levelled this allegation. We'll get you the political war of words and the truth of what really these laddus, this prasadam is made of. Let's begin. Is the famous prasadam at the Tirumala Tirupati temple made with animal fat? There's a lot of back and forth, a lot of politics, but let's tell you what the National Dairy Board has to say in their report. A lab test report by the National Dairy Board has confirmed, and we've highlighted for you some of the big takeaways. Animal fat, otherwise known as lard, beef tallow, which is essentially beef fat, that's been found in the prasadam. The lab report has also confirmed that fish oil has been found in the prasadam in Tirupati. So shocking revelations have come to the fore. The TDP has referred to this very report to say, look, we told you animal fat is being used in the prasadam that's offered to Lord Venkateshwara in the Tirumala Tirupati temple. This is essentially as an adulterant, as you can see written there, where foreign fat has been added, soybean, sunflower, and all these oils, including fish oil. Then you've got beef fat, lard, animal fat, all of that also mixed in. So it's not pure ghee that's been used to make this prasadam. And Chandrababu Naidu has been alleging exactly this, saying that this is why we revamped the entire structure, cleaned out the rot in the Tirumala Tirupati Devastanam, the TTD board. Shocking details that have emerged. The very famous laddus, which have a GI tag, by the way, which you see on your screens there. So famous, everyone who visits Tirumala Tirupati comes back with these laddus for their loved ones, considering it to be blessings from Lord Venkateshwara himself. And then shockingly, now it's come to light that what it's made of is beef fat, is animal fat. Let's play out for you a reaction from the Telugu Desam party.
Lard ante animal fat, జంతువుల మాంసం. ఏ జంతువులో మనకు తెలీదు. కుక్కలు కావచ్చు, నక్కలు కావచ్చు, పిల్లులు కావచ్చు, కుళ్ళిపోయిన కుక్క పిల్లలు కావచ్చు. మనం చూస్తుంటాం కుక్కల మాంసం వస్తుంటది చెన్నై నుంచి. మా నెల్లూరుకి ఎన్నిసార్లు పట్టుకున్నారో తెలుసా మీకు? ఏమా నెల్లూరులో పట్టుకున్నారు లేదా? 1000 టన్నులు పట్టుకున్నారు, 100 టన్నులు. ఆ నూనె కూడా వాడారని భయముగా ఉన్నది.
So the TDP now firing a fresh attack at the YSRCP. Remember, the YSRCP has told the TDP, has told Chandrababu Naidu that all of this first is lies. But if it is true, take an oath in front of Lord Balaji, in front of Lord Venkateshwara, swear that you are saying the truth. Now with these details emerging from the National Dairy Board report, what will the YSRCP say? I'd like to bring in Abdul Bashir as well as Gaurav Sawant on this broadcast. Abdul, I'll bring you in on this report that your team has accessed. which confirms now that yes, animal fat was found in the prasadam, a form of adulteration essentially. Animal fat, lard, beef fat, you've got fish oil, all of this found in a prasadam that's supposed to be made from pure ghee.
Well, Akshita, a test that was conducted in the month of July and which report had been released. I mean, the report was ready by 23rd of July, which states that the S value level of the samples that were given of the ghee that was used to prepare the prasadam of Tirumala Tirupati Devotional, the S level or S value of this particular sample was high than the usual, than the considered value, which says that the prasadam is made with pure ghee without any animal fat. So S value is above the levels, which states that a suspected use of beef oil or fish oil is used in this particular ghee that was used, or the sample that was given from the ghee that was used to prepare prasadam in Tirumala Tirupati Devastanam. So, like we have heard from the chief of TDP and Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu yesterday during the NDA partners meeting in Mangalgiri, where he clearly stated that there is animal fat that was used by the previous board, the previous YSRCP
regime. This was a suspicion. This was a suspicion that was there for some time now, because in July, as Abdul tells us, in July, the new TTD board that stepped in after, of course, the change of guard also in Andhra Pradesh, that's when all of this suspicion came up, because they said that this is substandard ghee that's being used in the prasadam, and now it's emerged that it's not just substandard ghee, adulteration in the form of animal fat has also been used in the prasadam. And Gaurav Sawant is also with us on this. Gaurav, it's shocking to say the least. Lot of reports suggesting that this is the case. And Gaurav, just stay with me. Let's get in a quick reaction from the BJP. Mr. Krishna Sagar Rao is joining us on this broadcast. Mr. Krishna Sagar Rao, what do you have to say about this? The National Dairy Board report confirms beef tallow, which is essentially beef fat, lard, animal fat, fish oil, all of that found in the prasadam offered to Lord Venkateshwara.
This is atrocious. This is unholy, and this is unwarranted, and it is uncouth. Now, this works against the religious sentiments of billions of people in this country. And I don't understand who has administered what they have, in the prasadams or in any other form of offerings to the god. And how can someone do that? I mean, how low can somebody fall to just corrupt the God's givings, God offerings? And Bharatiya Janata Party condemns this. I mean, this is condemnable to the hilt. And what kind of human beings can, and what kind of politics can do something like this? What is this? Having animal fat in the usage of the God's offerings, and having chemicals, and having substitutes which are not holy. This is totally unholy. This is totally politics which is below the belt for the entire religion of Hinduism. Now, this is against the beliefs of billions of people. So I seriously condemn this. This has to be acted upon. There has to be a high-level committee which should be constituted. People have to be booked. They have to be brought to justice. Justice has to prevail.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Krishna Sagar Rao, for joining us with your view on this. And I'm sure everyone also expresses your sentiment away from the politics about how shocking this is. Sridhar Reddy of the BRS is also joining us from the neighbouring state of Telangana. Mr. Reddy, what do you have to say about this? This doesn't just concern Andhra Pradesh anymore. It concerns the entire country. It concerns all the devout Hindus, followers, believers of Lord Venkateshwara of the revered Tirumala temple.
Yeah. I mean, if even if this is prima facie, if they is found guilty, rather if there is any evidence on like that, it is a crime rather. It is hurting the sentiments of millions of believers or rather Hindus. So there should be a strict action against them. I mean, what's more, there is nothing a bigger crime than this if that is proven. And actually, there was no need for the government of that day to behave like that, or the authorities concerned to behave like that. It is purely playing with the sentiments. It is a crime. They need to be properly punished, and the government should take it in a serious manner, and they should seriously investigate this and bring the concerned or the responsible to the punishment.
Okay, Mr. Reddy, thank you very much for joining us with your view. Gaurav Sawant is live with us. Gaurav, this hurts the sentiments of so many Hindus, of lakhs who visit this temple, seek the blessings of Lord Venkateshwara, take this prasadam back, believing that it's the direct blessings of Lord Balaji that they're taking to their loved ones, to their family. And for it to be corrupted in this manner with the ingredients that, it's emerged were used at least in the prasadam, is shocking to say the least, because you're playing with the beliefs of lakhs of devotees.
Many of the devotees would describe this as sin. There are 80,000 to 1 lakh devotees who visit the temple every day. There are 15 crore of these laddus that are made
My apologies,
every
Gaurav,
year.
I'm going to come back to you. My apologies. We've got Mr. Annam Reddy, national spokesperson of the Telugu Desam Party with us. Mr. Reddy, we played out your press conference, and Reddy Garu, you said there are animal fat. We don't know what kind of animal fat has been used in this prasadam. Can you tell us, sir, what evidence the TDP has right now? The report that we're showing, can you tell us about that?
Yeah, ma'am. A very good evening to you all. Ma'am, this report, this was a sample which was sent to the National Dairy Development Board to the lab in Gujarat. And 5 samples were sent. We have released it.
Reddy Garu, can you hear me? All right, apologies. We've lost the connection with Mr. Reddy. Not sure if he can hear me, but we will get in a view from the TDP on this. They've been, of course, highlighting this issue after yesterday Chandrababu Naidu had raised it. But what is this entire controversy about? How did this get triggered? Who highlighted the fact that there are serious violations here in how this prasadam is made and that animal fat is used? We break down those details for you in our next report.
These laddus are big business in Tirupati. Nothing less than the holy grail for devotees visiting the Tirumala temple in Andhra Pradesh. More than 15 crore laddus are prepared in these halls every year. 2 of these laddus are given to each devotee as the prasadam of the Tirumala Venkateshwara temple. However, the taste of these iconic laddus has been soured a little in the past 24 hours. Andhra Chief Minister N. Chandrababu Naidu shocked his audience in a legislature party meeting of the ruling NDA in Amravati, alleging that animal fat had been used instead of ghee under the previous state government. The charges were backed by a former Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam's board member.
దేవుని దగ్గర పెట్టే ప్రసాదం అపవిత్రం చేసే విధంగా ఓసారి బాధేస్తుంది. నాసి రకమైన ఇంగ్రీడియంట్సే కాకుండా ఎనిమల్ ఫ్యాట్ కూడా వాడారని. ఏది గీకు బదులు ఈరోజు స్వచ్ఛమైన గీ తెమన్నాం, ప్రక్షాళన చేయమన్నాం. నాణ్యత పెరిగింది, ఇంకా కూడా నాణ్యత పెంచుతాం.
సరే, మీరు చెప్పిన కండిషన్స్ ప్రకారం ఇన్ని లక్షల ఆవు పాలు ఉత్పత్తి చేయగలిగే సామర్థ్యం కావాలి. ఆవు పాలు ఉత్పత్తి చేయగలిగి మనం వెన్నకు కన్వర్ట్ చేసే సామర్థ్యం ఉండాలి. దాన్ని మనం నెయ్యిగా ఇన్ని డిగ్రీస్ టెంపరేచర్ చేయగలిగే సామర్థ్యం ఉండాలని చెప్పి మీరు కండిషన్ పెట్టినా అవన్నీ పక్కన పెట్టేసి ట్రేడర్స్ దగ్గర తక్కువ రేటుకు వచ్చాడు.
The opposition was quick to deny the charges and responded with its own counter-attack. YSRCP, which was in power in Andhra till June this year, called the charges malicious and said that Naidu had severely damaged the sanctity of the temple and the faith of devotees. Former officials of the temple board also slammed the chief minister.
అత్యంత దారుణాతి దారుణమైనటువంటి ఆరోపణ ఆయన చేయటం జరిగింది. దిట్టం రూపంలో స్వామివారి అపరభక్తులైనటువంటి తన రాజకీయ స్వప్రయోజనాల కోసమని జగన్మోహన్ రెడ్డి గారి మీద బురద చల్లాలన్నటువంటి ఉద్దేశంతో చంద్రబాబు నాయుడు గారు ఈ రకమైనటువంటి ఆరోపణ చేయటం అంటే తన నైతికతను మరింత దిగజార్చుకోవటం తప్ప మరొకటి కాదు.
The Tirumala temple receives the highest donation among all temples in India. Its budget for 2022-23 showed cash offerings of more than 1,000 crore rupees. Its interest revenue from deposits in banks is nearly 670 crore rupees. Prasad sales account for 365 crores, though reports say that Temple Trust incurs a loss of 200 crore every year under this head. Revenue from tickets is around 362 crore rupees. The temple earns around 250 crore through other sources. For all involved, any controversy surrounding the humble laddu could mean a huge monetary setback. A 175-gram laddu is sold for 100 rupees by the temple. With nearly 2.5 crore annual visitors, this translates into big numbers. Even the procurement of 5,000 tons of ghee for these laddus by the trust is a politically sensitive issue. For long, Karnataka Milk Federation has been the primary supplier. But last year, Amul emerged as the lowest bidder for the 250 crore rupee contract, setting off political fireworks in Andhra and across the border in Karnataka. With Apurva Jayachandran in Hyderabad, Bureau Report, India Today.
And let's bring in once again from the TDP, Mr. Annam Reddy, who's joining us on this broadcast. Reddy Garu, take us through what you were telling us earlier, sir, but what the report highlights.
Yeah, ma'am, it's like this, okay? These samples of one of the, for two trucks, I mean, I would call it 2 tankers, okay? 2 tankers or 3 tankers where samples were sent to the National Dairy Development Board in Gujarat. Because the reason being that this is one of the premier agencies in Southeast Asia, and their labs are one of the best equipped labs in Southeast Asia, not in India alone. And they're known for their accuracy and the way they get things done. Now, the report which has come has been shocking. The report clearly says, out of the 5 samples, all the 5 samples are tainted with animal fat, with fish oil, and with lard. Lard is what? Lard is nothing but animal fat. So we are not only talking about beef here. We are talking about dead animals where the fat has been melted and mixed with ghee and supplied to the Tirumala temple. So it's not 1 or 2 samples, and it is a lab which is well-renowned, and there is no doubt that this committee which was put in place by Chandrababu Naidu as soon as the NDA government came into power was headed by Mr. Surendranath, who is the principal secretary, retired principal secretary of the Dairy Federation of India, and also with Suvarnalata, who is a senior most professor in veterinary University of Tamil Nadu, Telangana.
Reddy Garu, in such a case, with these kind of allegations coming to the fore, what do you think was the trigger? Is it because you got it cheaper? Is it because the products were received cheaper? Is that why the YSRCP led TDP did it then? Or do you think that, it was an intentional affront to Hindus?
Ma'am, see, the price which they had given it was at 230. And at that time, the Karnataka Milk Federation, which is headed by the government of Karnataka, with their brand name being Nandini Ghee, they were the primary suppliers of ghee to Tirumala. They were unable to supply at that rate. The reason being that cow ghee is very, very expensive. If you want a good cow ghee, is almost 1,000 rupees a kg. So how the hell is somebody going to supply so many thousands of tons at 240 rupees? It is ridiculous because it is not viable. It is not viable for anybody.
But the question that then arises, this is a temple board that's the richest. Huge funds are pumped into the TTD. Where is the money going if not for ensuring that all the devotees who come in there get the best of facilities, get what they're paying for? And that's a question everyone will ask. Mr. Reddy, thank you very much for joining us here on India Today. The details that have emerged from this report will raise serious questions right now of the YSRCP on whether they played with the sentiments of crores of Hindus. So far, they've maintained that this is absolutely untrue. They've demanded that Chandrababu Naidu swear in the name of Lord Balaji that this is actually the case. But now with this report coming in, it changes everything. We're going to continue tracking all the latest on the story and getting you the reactions. That's all we have time for in this edition of 6 p.m. Prime. Thanks very much for tuning in.